Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of Cleavers Forge with Domie Asogwa. I hope you're excited to be here. I was here with you Wednesday last week and we talked extensively and I was able to get feedback from a lot of you and you people were saying you learned a lot. I'm very glad and I'm impressed that you're learning. So welcome. So today we have another live episode. And like I said, this is a weekly series targeted at singles. It's supposed to help you build healthy relationships that will translate to healthy marriages. Okay. So when you join me every Wednesday, you get a free coaching session with me and you get forged to unlock marital bliss. I don't want any of you to get into marriage and, should I say, suffer tremendous ills in marriage. So welcome. Okay. I am a relationship coach and a marriage counselor. And this is a weekly series where I teach you how to navigate singlehood and prepare yourself for healthy marriage. So, welcome. Thank you for joining me. So, if you're here, I would like you to leave in the comments where you're joining me from. Okay, I want to know you. And if you're joining me for the very first time, it'll be nice to meet you. So please kindly introduce yourself in the comments. And I also want to let you know that you can invite your single friends to come learn too. So go go to the bottom of this video and share the link with your friends so they can join us to learn. So this week we're talking about something really like important. Okay, I was having a conversation yesterday and I realized that a lot of single people are repeating very poor like patterns that are leading them into unhealthy relationships and marriages. Okay, so this week our topic is relationship patterns that keep breaking your heart. Relationship patterns that keep breaking your heart. Can you write this in the comment section? What's our topic this week? Okay, so I want us to look at this topic because I want to help you break recurring cycles of unhealthy relationships. And it's important because if you don't break those cycles, you end up, choosing someone whom you're going to get into marriage with and you'll be repeating these negative circles. Okay, even in marriage you repeat the negative cycle in marriage and we don't want that. And to take us further into this topic, I want to ask you a few questions and I want you to examine yourself. Have you ever found yourself saying, why does this always happen to me? Have you ever found yourself saying that? Have you ever found yourself saying every relationship that I get into starts well but ends the same way? Have you ever found yourself asking yourself this question? Why do I keep attracting the wrong people? Have you found yourself asking, why do I keep getting disappointed? If any of these questions sound familiar to you, then today's session is for you. This session has been prepared specially for you, and you're going to get answers in today's session, okay? The truth is that heartbreak is very painful, but repeated heartbreak deserves investigation. So, if you've been going through repeated heartbreak and it seems like the pattern is the same, then you ought to investigate. There might actually be a problem. When the same unhealthy experiences continue to appear in different relationships, it is often because there is a pattern at work. There is a pattern at work, and I want to tell you not to ignore that pattern. Please, you really need to check and see what is the pattern at work. Why do I keep repeating the same mistakes? Patterns are powerful because they become familiar. And the truth is that familiarity can feel comfortable, even when it is unhealthy. So, today's goal is not to blame ourselves or others, about our past failed relationships. But today's goal is to recognize unhealthy circles in your relationship. It is to understand why they continue to happen. Why do those unhealthy cycles continue to happen? And then you also get to learn practical steps to break those cycles. Please, I want you to note something. What you refuse to examine, you are likely to repeat. So, today's class will take us on a journey of examination. So, we're able to see negative patterns and whatever repeated cycles that might be in our relationship so we can stop it. Okay. So, at the end of this live session, I expect that Cleavers singles who are joining me today would be able to recognize recurring unhealthy relationship patterns. They'll also be able to understand how repeated behaviors shape relationship outcomes. And you should be able to identify personal habits that sustain unhealthy circles. And you should also be able to learn practical strategies for creating healthier relationship choices. So let's jump right in. Our anchor scripture today is Isaiah 43 from verse 18 to 19. And I'll be paraphrasing. It says, "Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing." Okay, that's what God is saying today. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. A new relationship journey often begins with a new way of thinking and of choosing. So, that new relationship you're looking for is going to begin with a new mindset. And I want to equip you with that new mindset today so you'll be ready to embark into that something new that God is about to do in your life. Okay, so let's move right on. Our topic today is relationship patterns that keep breaking your heart. And I have developed 10 lessons I want to teach you today. Yes, 10 lessons that would help you see those relationship patterns that keep breaking your heart and helps you to break those negative cycles. So, lesson number one, I hope you have your notepads and your pen so you can take notes. Lesson number one, patterns don't happen overnight. That's lesson number one. You need to note it. Patterns don't happen overnight. Every unhealthy pattern begins with repeated choices. It begins with repeated responses or repeated habits. So, if you've observed an unhealthy pattern in your relationship, then I want to tell you it did not happen overnight. So there's been repeated choices, repeated responses, and repeated habits that has led to those patterns. Let me give you examples of such unhealthy patterns. Let's see. Example one, ignoring early warning signs. You're in a relationship and there are clear warning signs in the early stages of the relationship, but you keep ignoring it. So, ignoring early warning signs. Another pattern is rushing emotional attachment. So the first stages of a relationship is the stage where you build knowledge, where you get to know each other, you know, begin to check the person's values and begin to and see if those values align with your personal values and your long-term goals. Are you seeing? But a lot of singles, rush emotional attachment. Someone just comes and next thing you're already emotionally attached, you're not checking, no. So that's a negative pattern. Example three, excusing repeated disrespect. So you get into a relationship and there's repeated disrespect in that relationship, but you keep excusing it, you keep making excuses for that person. That's a negative pattern. Another example is remaining in a relationship that consistently produces anxiety rather than peace. So you're in that relationship, you can clearly see that you're anxious, you have doubts, you don't have peace, but you remain in it, feeling like, oh, if I leave this relationship, am I going to get a new person? Am I going to get into a new relationship? That's a negative pattern there. So you shouldn't remain in a relationship that consistently produces anxiety rather than peace. So let's go ahead. Small decisions repeated over time eventually become a lifestyle. So that's how you create a pattern. And to move further in this class today, I want to ask you these questions. What habits have become normal in your relationships that should never have become normal? Can you sit and think? What are those habits that you've normalized in your relationship that you, when you sit and think, you know that, oh no, this thing is not normal. I shouldn't normalize this. So, what is that thing you've normalized? Be truthful with yourself. You know, usually, Cleavers Forge with me is a session of examination. It's a session where we get to reflect and apply wisdom to bring changes to our relationships and so that it can equip us to unlock marital bliss. So let's go ahead. Lesson number 2. I want you to stop mistaking chemistry for compatibility. A lot of you just feel like, oh, because I have chemistry with this person, it simply just translates to compatibility. No, that's not true. Strong attraction can create excitement. Compatibility, on the other hand, creates stability. Compatibility is what will bring about stability in your relationship. Okay? So, chemistry would always answer, oh, I enjoy being with this person. That's what chemistry would say. Okay? But compatibility will answer or say, can we build a healthy life together? This relationship we have gotten into with this person, is it possible for us to build a healthy life together? That's what compatibility would say. So I want you to know that healthy relationship requires both. For your relationship to be healthy, you require both compatibility and chemistry. So not chemistry alone. Okay, a lot of you are just running on chemistry alone. You've not checked compatibility and you're just going head on into that relationship. So healthy relationships require both. You should be able to consider areas such as shared values. Do I share values with this person? Do we have the same kind of values? Yes, you should ask yourself that. Me and this person I'm getting into a relationship with, do we have common shared values? What's our relationship communication style like? Are we able to communicate well with each other? What life goals do we have? Is our life goals complementary? Are we able to manage conflict when they arise between us without turning it into war? In this relationship, are we able to respect boundaries, each other's boundaries? Do we have expectations, even as it has to do with our extended families? Are there expectations and boundaries? Okay, so you should be able to check these things. See, I'm not saying attraction won't happen. Attraction will bring the two of you together, yes. But compatibility is what helps the two of you stay together. So don't just face chemistry or attraction alone. Check compatibility. Please, singles, check compatibility. Okay, so let's move on. I told you I have 10 lessons for you today. Lesson 3. Lesson number 3. Learn to observe before you attach yourself to that person. Many people will become emotionally invested before they've gathered enough information. So you don't even know much about this person yet. There's already emotional investment, there's already emotional attachment. That's not right. Healthy relationships require observation. You should be able to observe. You should be able to get to know that person well. You know the lady, know the gentleman better. Pay attention to how they treat people who cannot benefit them anything. Pay attention to whether their actions match their promises. Pay attention to their responses when they are faced with disappointment. Pay attention to how they handle responsibility. Pay attention to whether they consistently show respect to you and to others. It's going to tell what their character is like. See, a person's character is revealed through consistency, not charm. Yes, a person could come up and be looking very charming, all put together and all of that. But that's not what, because the person is charming, does not translate to the person having good character. Please note that. Character will be revealed through consistency. When you consistently watch this person and you say, oh, okay, this person has good character. Or you watch, you observe, and you say, oh, this person's character isn't good, and therefore this person is not right for me. So you should be able to observe. You should be able to learn about the person you're with before investing yourself emotionally into the relationship. Okay, let's move on. Let's see lesson number 4. You should beware of emotional extremes. Relationships that move too quickly can sometimes create false security. Everything is just happening so fast. You're not even able to catch a breather. There's no time to learn about the person. There's no time to observe nothing. Everything is just going. Please take a pause. Beware of emotional extremes. I'm sure in that relationship there are clear warning signs, and you should be able to look out for those red flags, those warning signs. Some of those warning signs can be declaring lifelong commitment after a very short time. You've not known this person yet. You guys have not. Yeah, for a few persons it could work, but it's not a yardstick. It's not a benchmark. So declaring lifelong commitment after a very short time can be an indication of a problem, especially if the person is not willing to give time after that declaration for you people to really get to weigh things and see if the relationship would actually work. Okay. Another warning sign could be excessive dependence. So either you or your the person you want to get into the relationship with is overly dependent. So you're depending on the person excessively, or the person is depending on you excessively. That's a warning sign. Another warning sign is constant emotional highs followed by emotional crashes. So there's an emotional high and before you know it crashes. That's a warning sign. You should check, okay? Another warning sign is feeling responsible for the other person's emotional stability. So you should not be the one responsible for your partner's emotional stability. As much as you can play a role to help them, but you should get into a relationship with someone who is already emotionally whole, or who is able to regulate their emotions. Okay, healthy relationship be developed through trust that's built over time. Okay, so please check the relationship you're in. What are the warning signs? What are the obvious red flags you can see? Is it screaming fire on the mountain, run, 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 and you're still putting your head into it? So please check. Lesson number 5. Don't ignore your own voice. When you're in a relationship, please don't ignore your own voice. Sometimes people notice concerns early, but silence themselves because they fear losing the relationship. So there are certain concerns you've noticed in that relationship, but instead of speaking up and saying, "Oh, this is a clear concern for me," you rather begin to give excuses for the person, saying, you start telling yourself, "Oh, maybe I'm overthinking. Perhaps things will change. Let me just give it time." Or you tell yourself, "Nobody is perfect, so I will not get anybody perfect. So let me just stay in this relationship I have gotten." Please don't ignore your own voice. Don't ignore your own instincts. So healthy discernment should not be confused with negativity. So when you're in a relationship, there should be healthy discernment. You should be able to discern. And when you get those nudges, when you get those instincts, please don't ignore it. If something repeatedly troubles your heart, investigate it rather than dismiss it. So if you keep getting burdened about something, if something is troubling you consistently, please investigate it. Investigate it, okay? Lesson number 6. Break the circle of rescue relationships. A lot of you repeatedly choose partners that you believe you can fix. So you get into that relationship and you become your partner's therapist or financial rescuer, or you become your partner's parent, like you become a father or a mother, or you automatically become your partner's problem solver. Hmm, that's an indication of trouble. Oh. You're supposed to come in and be, partnership is something that it's not a parasitic relationship. It's more like a symbiotic relationship where you bring good, I bring good, we partner together and, we help each other. So, healthy love supports growth. If the love you're in is healthy, to support your growth. Yes. But it does not require one person to carry another person indefinitely. So if you're in that relationship and it feels like you're carrying the other person indefinitely, then that's an indication that a negative pattern is showing up. So I want you to ask yourself, am I looking for a partner or a project? Am I looking for someone I want to rescue financially? Am I looking for someone who I'm going to become their therapist for life? Am I looking for someone who I'm going to be solving all their problems? So, are you looking for a partner or you're looking for a project? Let's see lesson 7. So, you've in all your past relationships, you've been choosing familiarity over healthy relationships. The truth is that people will always gravitate towards whatever feels familiar. Yes. So because it feels familiar, you're more comfortable because this is something I have seen before, this is something I know, this is something that's familiar. But unfortunately, concerning relationships, familiar is not always healthy. So that it feels familiar or it looks familiar or it seems like something you've experienced before does not translate to it being healthy. Healthy relationships may initially feel unfamiliar, but you would know they are healthy because it will involve consistency, it will involve respect, it will involve patience, it will involve emotional safety, it will involve honest communication. So, for many of you, traumas from your past relationship is already speaking. So, when you begin to see something that seems unfamiliar, maybe in the previous relationship you were not getting respect, and all of a sudden a young man comes or a young woman comes who actually respects you, you begin to like, no, this is not familiar to me. So, instead of tilting towards healthy, you want to stay in that familiar zone. Please don't. So check if there's consistency, if there's respect, there's patience, there's emotional safety, and there's honest communication, then that's an indication of a healthy relationship that's about to bloom. So do not reject healthy simply because it feels different from your past experiences. I will take that again. Do not reject healthy simply because it feels different from your past experiences. Okay? So let's see. Lesson 8. Lesson 8. You keep measuring love by intensity. Have you been measuring love by intensity? Many people equate emotional intensity with genuine love. It's not the same. Oh. Okay? Intensity can exist without stability. So you can be in a relationship where there's, emotional intensity, yet there's no stability in that relationship. I want to tell you that healthy love would always be calm. Healthy love is respectful. Healthy love is predictable. Healthy love is safe. Healthy love is consistent. You see those attributes of love that are listed in the Bible. Love is kind, love is patient, love does not boast, it does not seek its own good, it stands the test of time. It states in the Bible that love never fails. So those are the attributes of love in real terms. So you should be focused on getting healthy love, not necessarily emotional intensity. A relationship that constantly swings between joy and crisis is exhausting, and that does not make it necessarily meaningful. And I would like to advise you, please, you don't need to stay in that relationship, especially when you've seen the signs that this thing is not working, that the relationship is not right for you. Okay, at this the end of this class, I would have you do an audit of your relationship. So stay and make sure you take notes so you can sit and go through your notes again and have time to reflect and think. Lesson 9: pay attention to how your relationships end. Past relationships. Have you ever started to think, how does my relationships end? Because every ending of a relationship teaches something. So instead of asking only, why did this happen, I want you to also ask, what did I overlook while I was in the relationship with this person? What did I overlook during the course of the relationship with this person? What did I learn? Also ask yourself, what boundaries should I strengthen? Okay, this relationship has ended. Going forward in my next relationship, what boundaries should I strengthen? What behaviors would I no longer tolerate from anybody? Are you seeing? So you could sit with yourself and make a listing of these things. What behaviors would I no longer tolerate? That way you have a guide, something you've crafted that guides you. Reflection transforms pain into wisdom. So you see that pain of heartbreak, is there a way you can sit with yourself and transform that pain to wisdom? If you're able to sit and check and ask yourself these questions, then you'll be able to know where you got it wrong, what things you overlooked, what you learned, what boundaries you should strengthen, and all of that. And that will help you. It will forge you into creating a more healthy relationship when you choose to enter your next relationship. Okay? So, I told you I'm going to be teaching you 5 lessons. So we've done lesson 1 to 9. Let's look at, oh, rather, I told you I'm going to teach you 10 lessons. We've looked at lesson 1 to 9. So let's look at our last lesson, which is lesson 10. Lesson 10 is healthy relationships require healthy decisions. So you cannot be making unhealthy decisions and expect to get a healthy relationships. Okay, so I'll take that again. Healthy relationships require healthy decisions. For you to change your relationship outcomes, you would need to change your decision making process. Before you enter a serious relationship, I want you to ask yourself, this relationship so far, have we built trust? Can I trust this person with my life, with my purpose, with our future family, with my dreams, with my fears? Can I trust this person? Okay, ask yourself that question. Before you enter a serious relationship, also ask, have we handled disagreements respectfully? In the course of our friendship, have we been able to handle disagreements respectively? Ask yourself also, do our values align? Ask yourself, is there mutual effort in this relationship, or am I the only one putting all the work? Am I the only person making the efforts? Is the person also making efforts? Ask yourself also, am I free to be authentic in this relationship? Do I feel free to be myself, or am I pretending to be someone I'm not? I want you to also ask yourself, does this relationship encourage growth? Are you seeing? All of these questions are very important because it helps you make a healthy decision. And when you make a healthy decision, you're able to get into a healthy relationship. So asking yourself good questions prevent unnecessary heartbreaks rather. But many of you don't ask yourself any questions. You just jump right in. You jump into the relationship, you become emotionally invested, you get attached without really checking if this thing aligns to what you really want. So please, from today, after this class, before you get into any relationship, please sit with yourself and ask yourself certain questions. And I'll give you a few questions you can ask. Okay? So I've been able to share 10 lessons with you, okay, that highlights the negative patterns that have been breaking your heart. If you've learned anything from this session, please don't forget to like this video and please share the link with your friends so they too can listen and learn. Okay, let's go ahead. I want you to be able to do a relationship pattern audit for yourself. Okay, so this exercise, I want you to sit later on when you have the time with yourself and do this audit. You will sit down and think about your last three significant relationships or situationships as the case may be. So sit with yourself. What are my last three relationships? What are the last three significant relationships I can remember about me? Then when you've noted those last three significant relationships, I want you to write down or answer these questions I'm going to ask you. Remember, you're doing a relationship pattern audit. So the first question you'll be asking yourself is, what attracted you initially to that person? So you answer for those three people from those three significant relationships. What attracted you initially to that person? What was the attraction? Then ask yourself, when did the first concern appear? You started dating that person, so there was a concern that came to your mind, but when did it first appear? Then ask yourself again, did you address it? That concern, when it appeared, did you address it or did you ignore it? Remember, you're doing a relationship pattern audit, so it helps you know. Okay. Then also ask yourself, what ultimately ended the relationship? So when the relationship ended, what was the reason why the relationship ended? Then finally ask yourself, what lesson am I to learn from that relationship so that I don't keep repeating it? Okay. So the reason why you're doing this audit is that I want you to look for common themes or common patterns rather than isolated events. So when you investigate and you're able to see those common patterns or those common themes, it will help you know that, okay, this might likely be a negative pattern and I need to watch it. Okay. So I also want you to ask yourself a few reflection questions so that you don't keep getting into a new negative relationship. I want you to be able to get into a new healthy relationship. So please take note of these reflection questions. After you've done the edits, still sit and ask yourself these reflection questions. Question one, what unhealthy relationship pattern have I normalized? Question two, have I confused attraction with long-term compatibility? Number three, what warning signs have I repeatedly ignored? Number four, do I rush emotional attachment before building trust in my relationship? Number five, what relationship habits must end before I begin another one? Number six, what qualities will I intentionally prioritize moving forward? I hope you were able to get all the questions. Okay. Even if you didn't get them clearly, I invite you to join our free WhatsApp community for singles. It's called Cleavers League. Yes, it's free. So what you can do is go to our Instagram page at the Marriage Trove, follow that page, and then click on the link in bio, and you'll see the link to join our free WhatsApp community. Okay, so usually at the end of each class, I create a guide pertaining to the class, and you get all of these reflection questions. And today you also get the relationship pattern audit questions. Okay, so before I leave you today, I want to give you practical action steps I want you to take going forward. Okay, so that you can get into healthy relationship. So please take note of these practical action steps I want you to start taking from today going forward. Step one, I want you to create two lists. Yes, bring a book, create two lists, draw a line, and on one side you write healthy qualities to pursue, and on the other side write behaviors I will no longer excuse. Are you seeing? So under those two lists, begin to feel it. Sit down with yourself and think, what are the healthy qualities I want to pursue in my next relationship? What are the behaviors I will no longer excuse in my next relationship? Okay. Then step two, practice slowing down when getting to know someone. Instead of rushing emotional commitment, don't just rush to get emotionally committed to anybody. Ensure you slow down, get to know the person well, get to check, okay, this relationship I'm about to get into, does it align with my values? Does it align with my purpose? Does it align with my vision for marriage? Does it align with the kind of family I hope to build in the future? Okay. Step three, please discuss your observations with a trusted mentor, a counselor, or an accountability partner. Don't do things in isolation. If you have obvious fears in that relationship you're in, or you feel like you're unclear about certain things, I'm available. You can book a counseling, a one-on-one counseling session with me. Let's talk so you can get clarity. You can do that by contacting me on my phone number, or you go to our Instagram page. There's a link there that helps you book for an online counseling session. Okay. Step This is step one, two, three. This is step four. Step four, develop three personal boundaries that will guide your future relationships. So, when you search with yourself and you recognize those negative patterns that keep reoccurring, I want you to be able to develop three personal boundaries that will guide your future relationships. Okay. These boundaries are not to lock you in, it's actually to help you so you don't repeat those negative mistakes again. Okay. Step five, always review your decision before you enter a new relationship with someone you're interested in. So sit down with yourself and review. Ask yourself whether your choice of this person aligns with your long-term values. Don't just jump in. Check, investigate, verify, please. So you make a good decision, and remember, a good decision would probably lead you into a healthy relationship. So I want to charge you today. I would like to let you know that your heart is valuable. Protecting it does not mean avoiding relationships. No, that's not what it means. Protecting your heart means becoming intentional about how you enter into relationships. The goal is not for you to become suspicious of everyone. Maybe anyone that comes to you, you start suspecting the person. That's not the goal. But the goal is that you become wiser with every past experience you've had. So you're able to pick lessons from those experiences to ensure you don't repeat those same negative patterns anymore. The truth is that healthy relationships are not built by chance. They are built through intentional choices. They are built through healthy boundaries. They are built through discernment. They are also built through consistent character, consistent good character. Okay? So I want to charge you to change those negative patterns of yours. When you're able to change those negative relationship patterns, then you're going to be able to change your relationship possibilities. Please change those negative relationship patterns. Thank you so much for joining me today. We've come to the end of today's session of Cleavers Forge with Domie Asogwa. I hope you got forged to unlock marital bliss. That's the whole essence of today's session. Okay, I am rooting for you, and I would like to invite you to join me next Wednesday by 12 noon for another enriching session. And like I said, if you feel you need to talk to me, please book a counseling session. Okay, And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Also, invite your single friends to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tell them you found this channel. And every week you're getting forged to unlock marital bliss, and you will love them to join you. Okay? Please, I also like to have you follow us on all our social media handles. We are on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok and LinkedIn. So just follow us at the Marriage Trove. That's our handle. Please go to the different social media platforms and search at the Marriage Trove. Please follow our handles. And if you didn't join this class from the beginning or this live session from the beginning, I would implore you to catch a replay. Okay, the replay will be on here on YouTube with the same link. So sit with it, you know, have yourself do the reflection questions, have yourself carry out the audit, and take note of the action steps to help you make wise decisions to get into healthy relationship. Please do enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you so much. See you next Wednesday. Bye.